Yes, we're back. Bigger, better than before. Anyway. People go, why aren't you doing live every week? There's no purpose in doing a live if we have literally no information to share whatsoever. But we felt it was important really to get some word out. I want to talk first about the lottery cases, guys, if you don't mind, because I'm getting, really desperate pleas, and it breaks my heart. I wish I had more news. Last time we talked, I did say that one of our colleagues, not us, told us that they're working on a letter to the 11th to the DC Circuit. I don't have any more news. I will try to follow up again, but you all got that same email, right? They were working on something. So, because Judge Maida basically invited them to do it. Somebody asked, why didn't you join with Judge Maida in that case? And look, we knew it was going to happen. It's just, Maida he had no legal authority. It's on appeal. The judge is not going to set that aside. He's just not. So, I think Maida, I think he would have loved to have set it aside. I really do. I think he's as frustrated as anybody on something like this. And while I'm sure this is not the record length of an appeal or any close to it, it is wildly disturbing. That's in a year and a half at this point. It's been over the year and a half, I believe, if my math is right. And we've been able to indict presidents faster than this.
Chuck, your oral arguments preceded ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh! Have you?
I believe it was September, right? September 2022.
September 17th, something like that. Greg, have you asked ChatGPT what's happening? Have you asked them? Maybe if you ask
the Oracle probably doesn't have a response.
Ask Visa Law AI, which is Greg's wonderful program, which I use every single day. Great immigration-related program for us. So that's all we have. We don't really have any other news on the DV lottery. We will reach out to our colleagues in the Gomez case. And here is our handsome colleague, Jesse Bless.
Hey,
Jess, good to see you. So we will reach out to our colleagues in the Gomez case and ask them where they are on the motion they told us they were going to file and prepare several weeks ago.
That's my team.
Yeah. You're from.
Yeah. I think there. Well, just to this is my position on that. I don't think that a motion to lift a stay is the best use. This is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because what you basically need to show is that you're winning, and if the judges who've already voted, which they already have, are not on your side, you're not going to lift a stay.
No.
I think what you need to do is ask to poke the bear and say, listen, get that dissent written. Who's ever writing it, get it finished and finalized because people are really suffering. I have no doubt that people are harmful, and I think Curtis made that argument well. Yeah. So I think that's the Gomez deliberation right now. Like, are we filing a notice for an expedited decision, which is appropriate, and you can do that, or are we trying to lift a stay? And maybe
the Biden administration could actually moot it out by providing benefits to these people without having to have this decision. They could. They seem to be in that mood.
But don't you remember the very first day of the presidency, the memo that went out that we're going to fix the lottery problem that was caused by Trump?
Hold on. Didn't he? I cited this in one of our cases. Like Biden ran on raising the cap for diversity visas to I was like, it was much higher, but it's so easy to slam them for what they're doing in this case, and we could move on to every other case we're doing and say the same thing. But it's just at this point, it's intentional.
Just to manage people's expectations, I agree. There's zero chance that they're going to lift a stay before the decision on the merits. Zero. So the most we can do is just basically point out that this is taking a long time. Please hurry. And whether that does any good, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I think that it's going to come when it comes. And I know that's not what people want to hear, but I think that's how it is.
Yeah. So I think we need to talk to our colleagues about this. I'm going to send them an email right now about the status of this motion. What is the status of?
They're gonna blame me.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna say the guy who used to work for Ayla, who thinks he's still involved in this case, we can't get rid of him.
Yeah,
they're trying. He's trying to stick his nose in here and tell us that what we're doing is wrong. No, that's not true. I mean, I just think that.
I mean, it's just a question for give us here. But on the issue, I like to think that they're delaying it because our argument that the judge did bad math is confusing them, and they need to. Maybe they're right. Instead of 17,000, it should be all 50,000. Maybe that's what they're fighting about. I don't know.
I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to go down there and give them a bottle of rum and have them drink it and let them tell me how happy they are that they consolidated the cases, because I think that's what's really screwing them up. They consolidated different years with different remedies, a class combined with a non-class, a number of some won, some lost. There's the losers, a couple losers, and getting out from under that is a tough lift.
They never consolidated all these cases. Absolutely not. There's one that really is a definite loser. That's part of this. The rest.
Well, here's the thing, though. Let's talk back from that, because if they thought a judge could not order relief for after a fiscal year, this case would be easy to.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
It's an easy one.
Yeah,
so there has to be more going on. There has to be more going on.
So when I take it as a hopeful sign that they're just trying to.
Well, you're Mr. Optimistic, Chuck.
Well, I'm not always optimistic. That's the thing. Greg will tell you.
That is not an accurate.
I am not. But I'd like to think that we're going to get a good result, and they're just trying to figure out a way to maybe not get appealed to SCOTUS. I don't know. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that. Well, either way, right? It's going to have to go back down. I don't know. You're right, though. Too much. There's too much involved.
I mean, go back down on the math.
Here's the thing, though, and this is just to the class members who are really suffering, and I totally get it. But the sad emoji in my DMs, I can't do anything about. Like, I just feel like at this point, I don't know. I feel bad. I mean, I really do.
We've committed a lot of resources in this case, and we want to win. But filing motions where we know you're going to lose is not a good idea. I mean, it's just not a waste of time. Hey, let's hop over to our 601 delay litigation, which is delayed.
We have data. We can talk about that.
Before we get to the data, we're waiting on the Ninth Circuit, which took an expedited appeal on the case in November. So it's a little, honestly, they already agreed to an expedite there, and it's been 5 months since the oral argument. That's interesting to me. I mean, so that's kind of where we are. I mean, it's but Greg, where are we on our people?
Well, we have 178 of our plaintiffs have been approved.
Woo! Approaching 2/3. That's awesome.
0 have been denied, which is also kind of interesting. And then we have 118 remain pending. As far as where we have had cases as late as that were filed as late as December 15th, 2020.
But there are still November cases that aren't adjudicated. I think.
Well, right now, I mean, it's sort of a mix of September, October, November, December cases we're seeing. We have had a number of cases, approved in the last several days.
Yeah.
On there, so it seems like there's steady movement, but it is still 3+ years.
I have a question for Aaron about that. Aaron, what could possibly explain doing December cases when there are September cases unadjudicated?
You want me to start spouting crazy theories? There are other things that can explain it, but in general, when I get these decisions that are very out of order, I start to worry, because I think so. There's 2 ways, maybe there's more than 2, but there's 2 ways that I see that USCIS presents data. One is with their processing times that they publish on their websites that show however many months. And then on the quarterly and end-of-year reports, they often do it in median processing times. Well, taking cases out of order is one way to kind of juke the stats to make the median come way down quickly. And I don't know that that's what they're doing, but it certainly has that effect. So that's one thing that could be going on. But I don't know.
Well, the other thing is really poor management. It's what it could be, which in spades existing at the USCIS. We do know that the Heart Service Center is, as they reported in their most recent PowerPoint, is ethereal. It exists. It's like God. It exists everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. And it's therefore they have people working out of their houses all over the U.S. We do know that has to be within 3 hours of a service center. Is that what we were told? Because they have to drive the file. I don't know, something like that. But you get assigned to a person who gets sick, right? Okay. Nobody takes their place. And we did learn from the most recent PowerPoint, there are only 325 total employees of the Heart Service Center, but only 220 are actual examiners, which means they have like a 1/3 management support to an examiner, which seems loony to me, but so they even though they are staffing it, it's still not that well staffed, especially when you got 220 examiners that are handling 150,000 applications.
Yeah. I don't know how they were planning on getting that number down to a year, which was the plan a year and a half ago. They made that announcement. It was going to be, they would have them down to a year.
Well, they told me.
I mean, they have made a lot of progress in other process lines. So,
no.
I think naturalizations are generally going pretty fast, but that usually happens close to a presidential election.
Always happens in the elections, and they brag. I just actually taught this in my class this morning at Emory. All right, we actually walked through the stats. They're in the first quarter. They actually increased their backlog by 200,000 cases in the first quarter of the year. What they reduced were asylum EADs. The backlog on asylum EADs went down, and that accounted for like 100,000 of backlog reduction. But they actually have more cases pending.
Well, I will tell you something that happened this last week that sort of gave me a little hope with the agencies. I mean, it's not always about there's usually bad news to report. We filed an I-130 online for a U.S. citizen spouse overseas, and it took 10 days.
Don't tell Greg. You know the rule. You don't tell people that.
It took 10 days. It's already at the NBC. I was like, and this guy that I've been advising, I was like, I sort of like went through all the time. Now I sort of look like an idiot because it took so fast, but it does give me some hope that the e-filing may, as much as we criticize it and as many as the bad things that have happened, that is ultimately the solution for the agency to be able. I mean, it's not the only solution, but it is a key part of the solution to resolving this. If they had, how much time was wasted on the 601s A's in terms of getting them all into this electronic system, and apparently it's in there right now. That was a couple of months that cases were not moving at all while they were doing that. But it should be at least, to the point where an examiner is seeing it on the screen and it's like basically relatively quickly. So right now, I just think it's just not enough personnel.
Going to your point of the backlog, in the first quarter of the year, they actually adjudicated 13,000 601As and only took in 9,300. So they actually had a kind of a $4,000 net positive. But here's the problem. Let's say they do that every quarter. They have a $4,000 net positive. There's 140,000 pending cases.
Yeah.
So that's their backlog. So, and they would only take them about, forever to get that backlog down. I mean, they're talking about 36 months.
Yeah.
They're gonna get all the new fees. They're gonna pull it in a big pot, and everyone's gonna be better off. They just needed more money, Chuck. That's all.
I saw something. I forget which. I think it was Portugal that had an interesting thing in their system that would be sort of like a nice thing to do here. Portugal, if you are stuck in a line waiting on residency status for a lengthy period of time, after a certain period of time, they actually credit the time that you were waiting to the time when you're eligible for citizenship on there. So
people would instantly naturalize if that was the case in the United States.
That's right around the corner. And
so that's kind of a way to
Congress will get right on that.
Compensate people for this.
Sure, Congress will do that. So basically, what we're saying is the government's lying to you about getting caught up. They lied to the judge about doing it in a year because they told the judge that they're going to take a year by October 2020.
They said they wanted to do it. They always leave. They're not dumb. They know what they're doing.
I thought they said they anticipated.
Yeah. Right.
I thought they used the word would, which gets us to the other case that we're dealing with, which is our 601 litigation. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. They don't report 601 backlogs in their service-wide form on that report. Isn't that weird? That's so it's not included in the quarterly. Here's all the cases filed. Here's all the cases pending. They don't give that report. I can't find it. A report on 601s.
I think they group them with other kinds of waivers, which makes it very unhelpful.
Well, I mean, if you look at the report, it just say waivers, but we don't know. I mean, what those are. But those in the first quarter, they fell 14,000 more behind in the first quarter on quote waivers, whatever those are. 14,000 more behind in one quarter. So that's why I was so angry when they came out with, hey, we're looking at our wonderful things we've done this quarter. It's just not true. All right, let's talk about the 601 case. Aaron, we got some news this week on our 601 waiver appeal.
Yeah, first of all, there's 8 plaintiffs left in the appeal. Most of them, if not all, I think all but one probably, I would be surprised if they don't get an adjudication in the net or some kind of notice in the next month or two. It's just the time looks like it's lining up for them, but we'll see. But in the meantime, the case has been briefed on appeal to the 8th Circuit. The 8th Circuit has notified us that they screened it and are planning on setting it for oral argument. The next available window for oral argument on their calendar is in mid-June, and we will see if we get slotted into one of those spots.
Aaron, there's something else happening that same week in June, isn't there?
Yeah, that's the Immigration Lawyers Conference, the AILA conference in Chicago.
Yeah. There's 5,000 immigration lawyers. Now, Aaron, you're admitted to the 8th Circuit, right?
Nope. So we've got a little bit of ministerial stuff we got to take care of before then.
All those admitted to the 8th Circuit raised their hand.
You guys, I checked, and it doesn't list you as active. So,
I thought I had one of those certs on my wall to check.
You, Jesse.
I'm not active.
Not in the 8th Circuit.
I think we checked. I'll have to check again.
I think I got one of their certificates on my wall. I thought I was admitted to all but the Federal Circuit until recently, but I did just find out that the 8th Circuit only has one Democratic appointed judge.
It's a tough court. I mean,
yeah, and they have we have some. Sorry, I was going to say we have a bad 8th Circuit decision from I guess it was the beginning of March.
Yeah.
We have a not good 5th Circuit decision from a couple weeks ago. So we have our work cut out for us. I think the Supreme Court might have to step in and look at this issue.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. So that's what's going on there. So we're on top.
Yeah. It's. We'll see if hey, best case scenario is people get mooted out before June, and and maybe we can save this argument for another day.
Jesse, have you argued in the 8th Circuit before?
Chuck, I've argued in every circuit.
You had, right? So
at least once. I actually have a published loss in each circuit.
Oh, congratulations! That's quite
yeah. They call that the sombrero in at DOJ lore. Yeah, that's how I got. Yeah, I mean, I got it.
All right, the last case we want to talk about today is our Uniting for Ukraine, our recovery of fees in that case. And we've been in some confidential negotiations with the government, and now we're moving forward with, I think we're going to move forward with discovery, aren't we, guys?
Hopefully.
So, it's still remarkable to me that the government continues to do the wrong thing. Just really remarkable. So, I guess stealing money from refugees is an okay thing in the Biden administration, if it's okay to do that. Like there's not another reason to be upset with the guy. So there we go. But we're working on that case, and I think part of the issue now is how the government is interpreting who the class members are seems to be different than reality we all live in. But
Did I tell you the craziest thing? Like, so, I'm doing like the fee litigation, whatever, and they cited our case in that in opposing the PI. They cited Boasberg's decision as saying that, like, oh, you can just get the money later. If we're taking it now, it's not harmful because you can just go get it later from us. And that was their defense. And they didn't defend us on the fee case on the merits, like on the legal issue of whether we were right. They said, oh, no, look at
they love refunds. So that should not be
it's going to be easy. It's going to be so easy.
I love giving. Well, now we have an example. The judge just doesn't really work out that way. See, because they spent that money already. So there we are. We got only a few comments today, so we'll just do a couple of those. Taylor? Listen, you guys talk. Oh, thank you, Taylor. Well, I love talking immigration with my friends. These are amazing immigration lawyers here. I get to learn from them. It's really terrific. Daniel, any update 601 waiver? We've just mentioned that. Processing times are worse. Yes, they actually went up. And here's why they went up. Because they took in more cases than they adjudicated. Think about that. So if the HART does lots of different things on 601 other than 601As. So somehow they must have dedicated resources to 601As and 601s are not at the HART Service Center. They're somewhere else in Nebraska, and they didn't dedicate resources to them. So they fell further behind.
Hey Chuck, why is a 601A a humanitarian benefit that gets HART Service Center treatment and 601s are not?
Well, the only reason 601As are at HART is because of our litigation. It's the only reason. We all know.
Have any of the 601s actually been denied of our plaintiffs?
None. Although they did deny like 900 of them.
Right. And I think it's also interesting that the 601As have had 0 denials on there. Yeah. And that just tells me these are not that difficult decisions to make, that they are, that they should be able to, when you have a 100% approval rate, and when we say our clients are, our plaintiffs are probably fairly representative.
The approval rate would be around 90% because they did deny in the first quarter 921.
Right. But it just tells me this is not that difficult an adjudication.
No.
On there.
I agree, Greg, but I'll also say that the people who are named plaintiffs in these cases are more likely to have hired counsel to have done a good job preparing the waiver.
Big difference in counsel in these cases. At some point, I know I saw a memo or something from USCIS that said that represented cases on 601s have like a 98% approval and unrepresented are in the 70s or 80% numbers. So having a lawyer makes a big difference on how to present these cases. Absolutely. So we're out of questions, which is awesome for us because now I can eat lunch because it's Jesse and I can get lunch and Greg can think and Aaron can think about us eating lunch in a couple of hours from their time zones. But it's
it'll be brunch.
Here's Hayes. I think they should go through all 601As and click approve. Yeah, of course they should. Most of these, like I-130s, why is a parent I-130 taking 14 months or 24 months? It's your parent. Birth certificate, parent. Click, approved. Why are EADs taking anything other than no time at all? Because a computer should be doing most of them. It's an agency.
Why? And on the 601As, they could probably have made the pain a lot Jesse has said this a bunch of times, that giving interim employment authorization would have made life a lot easier for all of these folks. And if you're going to take any kind of case like this, where you're going to take that length of time, the administration's already shown that they're willing to be flexible on who they give EADs to, and this would have been a perfect use of that.
Guys, sorry, I just wanted to say to the three of you, if after we click off, can we hang out for 1 minute?
Yeah, we'll do that. Why are spousal visas so far to Nairobi? This actually gets to a consular issue that I see all the time in my practice, is that some consulates are just really far behind. I don't attribute that to any bad issue, any bad blood or racism at the consulate. I contribute. I would say that's probably an issue of staffing at most consulates. Now, there is, I think, issues for Iranians, for example, where every male is being administrative processed for 2 years. But Nairobi.
Well, the other thing is it's a tech problem as well. We saw this during COVID, when we had all these backlogs, and we kept urging the administration to think about doing remote interviews at a TC and not let the consulates not let things be so dependent on what's going on in the particular local conditions in that particular country. And it really sort of, the fact that we're so many years out from when we have this technology that they're still not using it, as if, seeing somebody eye to eye, with this, where you could touch them, is that different than doing a video interview? Because
there's 3 inches of glass between you and that person. So why is the consular officer in the Bahamas, who works part-time, not saying, okay, today you're going to be doing Nairobi marriage-based interviews? I mean, put them on the camera. What difference does it make? So anyway, we're going to say goodbye to our audience. We will see you guys not next week, but if any news pops up, we'll be live. And probably in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be live with any more update. And of course, we will post on our own individual pages and send an email out to our clients when our colleagues at Gomez decide to get the filing ready to go. Not you, Jesse. Not you. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye-bye.